Hey, hey, hey. Hope everybody's doing good. Carl Bryan coming at you with my boy Pat Bell, Kenyon Bell, as Kenyon Pat, I mean, as we like to call him. What's happening, buddy? What's happening?
Lots of time to dream today. Good things. Uh,
That's what we like to
Absolutely.
hear.
Yeah, dreaming
That's
of the
what,
right things. That's the key.
dreaming of what? Say again?
Dreaming of the right things. I was telling Carl that earlier today, I told Carl like a couple nights ago, I woke up with a new solution for the software. And like after like a few seconds, it like fizzled away. I'm like, no, what was that?
That's it, guys. Feel sorry for Pat. Poor bugger, man. He's literally dreaming about software and waking up. But we are all the benefactors, folks. We are all the benefactors. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. So as per always, guys, this is a Q&A call. You guys provide the Q. We provide the A. If you guys have any questions for us, raise your hand or chuck your question in the box and we can read it out, of course. And before we get some action going, let's open up a couple lines here. Who do we got here? Linda Lewis is with us. Let's go to Linda, right smack dab in the middle of the board. Linda, you are self-muted. There she is. Linda Lewis, you're live.
Hello, good to hear your voice this afternoon.
Hey,
You bet. What's happening, Linda? Inspire us or question us. One or the other. Over to you.
So I was in Profit Acceleration Software last night playing around in resources and really trying to get to know and understand the new links for the 100K training, of which there are so many. Awesome trainings in there that I was going through, but I felt like I was missing or couldn't find the link for maybe listening to the training that happened. It seemed like there was a training and I was reading a 700, almost 700 PowerPoints
oh my
slides.
goodness.
And I wondered if there was a presentation somewhere that had all 700 PowerPoint slides in it.
It's a good question.
That was
Pat, you know
last
what you... Yeah.
Yeah. So
Pat, you know
the
where she
new
is?
100, yeah, the new 100K training, the videos for that, the 2-day training, are not in the resources center here. That's something that I think Adrian had sent out. I think the links to that initially, and then there's a place where people go to get the replays of those, but they are not housed here.
Okay. Do you know where they are?
Personally, I don't. I'd say, unless Carl does, I'd say write Adrian. He'll let you know where they are.
Yeah, just fire Adrian an email. It was emailed not too long ago, but email Adrian and he'll be able to point you directly to it, Linda. No problemos, amigos.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. It's amazing training what's in there. It was great, but it did feel like I was missing something. So
Yeah, cool. Was there only 700 PowerPoints? Is that all?
yeah,
700
that's just
slides.
in one of those links. It's
Yeah.
700, that's all. The other links have, each link has a couple hundred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Adrian's an obsessed man.
Now these
There you
were.
go.
I remember editing these it's like 697 slides. Like, okay, I got to check every slide to make sure it's right. But it comes out with a fantastic presentation.
Bingo, bango, bongo. There you go. All right, Linda, anything else for us?
That's it for the moment.
Good stuff. All right, we appreciate you. Put you back on mute. And again, just email Adrian and he'll point you directly towards what you're looking for. Oh, Lois Lane. She's become popular around here. In fact, her ears might have been burning this morning while Pat and I were chatting about her. Lois Lane, we're coming for you, buddy. You are self-muted.
Oh
There
dear,
she
what are
is.
you coming for?
Hey, how's it going?
Well, It is, you know what, it is slower than I would like it to be. I have just gone through again today and pulled together more people to call. So it just is a process, isn't it? And
One day, consistency will win over short bursts, without doubt. No hurry, no pause is a post-it note that I have on my computer that I'm looking at right now. No hurry, no pause. There you go. But keep going.
it's the no pause, right? Because you look for results quickly and they come more slowly, it seems. And yet, you know what? You see things beginning, people starting to ask questions, which is a good sign. But
great sign.
But they're not ready enough. So
yep.
I'm getting impatient.
What do you mean they're not ready enough? Walk me through that.
Sure. So they know they have a need. They're not sure what their need is. They're afraid of doing something about it. They don't want to spend money. And so they sit and watch. And so my big marker is if they, so there's one person I've been working with, and I don't know that she's ready really to move. I think that she is a part of a larger corporate, she's a partner in a company and wants to go off on her own, and she'll be more ready when she's on her own. And so it's really helping people sort and know when you can help, because if there's too many things limiting their decision making, you're
yep.
stuck, right? And they don't want to include that, the decision makers, then you can't do much. But so what's encouraging though is seeing their positive response, knowing they need something. So it's, you know, when you're needing to be persevering, I think for me, those little indicators are what keep me going, because you realize there's something there. You just have to get at it.
Okay, so I want to get more granular, though. I want you to talk about a specific person, a specific business that didn't feel like they were ready, or you didn't feel like they were ready. See if we can help.
Okay, so the specific business, there's 3 companies. An events company, this person is part of a company that has 3 businesses. An events company.
Yep.
A real estate development company.
Yep. This is one individual, right? Did we talk about this last week by chance?
No. And
then okay, cool. This is one individual with 3 companies. Yeah, real estate, events. What's the third?
Financial services. So financing some of these things. So for her, what she really wants is somebody who, so this is for your next financial silo, basically. What she's really looking for is somebody who can put the key indicators for her 3 businesses so it's easy for her to manage. So, you know, what's going on with leads with this company? What's going on with you know, which financial things do I monitor with this company, etc. And so it's what she's trying to do is put 3 things together. And
may I jump in, Lois, just real quick?
Yeah.
What's the very obvious problem that she has?
Disorganization.
Yeah, something even more obvious than that, maybe.
Lack of focus.
Yeah, just 3. Yeah, exactly. 3 companies, and they're not all, you know, operating simultaneously. You know what I mean? They're not all working in concert with one another.
Correct.
Yep. So my first question is, are these real businesses or these pretend businesses? Without sounding harsh, but.
No, they're real businesses. They've been in existence for actually quite a few years. They're real businesses, and her job is to put the 3 and to stay on top. And so her overwhelm is she's got a young family, started a little later, and trying to figure out how to life balance and get this all managed and be on top of her numbers.
Yeah. Okay. So again, look, bottom line is to go in there and, you know, you got 3 companies, you need to be, managing 3 companies is not for the faint of heart. But I would just be sitting down with her. What's her name?
Karen.
Karen. So I'd be like, Karen, which of the 3 businesses is the real money maker, and which of the 3 businesses is the one with real opportunity? And then I zip it, watch what she says, how she says it, the manner in which she says it. This will give me a good idea as to where it's at, and if she has it, and she may not even know, by the way. And then I would just say, look, what we need to do is we need to focus you, right? We can't work on 3 businesses simultaneously. We need, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates got together. I think it was Bill Gates' dad asked them both, what's the number one reason for your success? Gave them each a piece of paper, said, don't look at one another's answer, write it down. They both wrote down one word, and it was focus, right? So, and that's a true story, by the way, right? So again, you got to think, okay, so this is what I would do. I would, again, ask her that question and say, okay, well, look, let's start with the event. We'll assume she said the event company. So she says the event company. I basically go through the software with the the Jumpstart 12 with the one company, go really deep. And I just want to see what I've got a saying, right? Like if you were standing at a bus stop and I come up to you and offer you a Band-Aid, you'd look at me like some sort of freak show and say, get away from me, right? If I accidentally came up and I brushed up against your arm and I cut it and there was a little trickle of blood down your arm, and then I gave you a Band-Aid, you go, oh, thank you, right? Like for this gal, Karen, you got to cut her arm before you give her the Band-Aid. And my instincts tell me that you might have been doing too much surface stuff and not doing enough go deep. Like, do you have joint ventures? Do you have a business plan? Do you have a marketing plan? Are you currently advertising? Do you have a Trojan horse, which is basically an offer they can't refuse? As in, do you have a compelling offer? Like, just think of the Jumpstart 12. And then when you got to hear no. And it's like, hang on, we're running 3 businesses and this one's a dog's breakfast. It's the one with all the opportunity. And you haven't formulated any, you know what I mean? That like, it's got no roadmap in place. Let's get this in place. Again, another example, a metaphor, Tony Hsieh. You know Tony Hsieh, the guy Zappos.com that passed away recently?
Yep.
So he had a goal of, he's a totally eccentric guy, right? He had a goal of world peace. And I can't begin to tell you how powerful, but what I think what I'm about to say is, and it's not me, it's Tony Hsieh. He wanted to create world peace. And this is a billionaire. And what his roadmap looked like is that he was going to create 1 minute of world peace. That was going to be a starting line, right? So it was going to be on X date in 2021. The entire world was going to stop and enjoy one minute of world peace, right? You see how you take a monstrous goal that nobody's undertaken and certainly not achieved, and he was going to do it for 1 minute, right? Same thing with this gal. Look, let's just form one joint venture with your event management company. Let's create $100,000 joint venture, and then let's go to the next step. And you kind of follow me to see how I got real granular with that, and I gave her a couple of examples.
Yeah.
Do you like that? Do you think that approach would have worked, or did you do that? What do you think?
Okay, so we did not do it. We were scheduled to go through Jumpstart 12, and I hadn't decided which strategy to follow before that call, but she was a no-show. She didn't show up for the call.
Okay.
So she's ambivalent, right? And I will follow up with her. I already have, but I will continue to follow up with her and sort that out. No, it's a great suggestion.
Okay, gotcha. But and this isn't just for you, Lois. This is for the benefit of everybody listening. But that's kind of how I'd approach it. But really important, that metaphor, that if I hand you a Band-Aid before you need one, you just no thank you, right? It's like if I have the cure for cancer. If you don't have cancer, it's actually not that exciting. If you got cancer, you'd sell everything you got to get your hands on it, right? Well, you got to make sure that she recognizes, you got to cut her arm. And the way you do so, you're like, okay, I get that. How do I do it? By going through the Profit Jumpstart and asking those questions. And again, you're going to hear, do you have a business plan? No. Do you got a marketing plan? No. Do you have an advertising budget? No. Do you have a Trojan horse? No. Do you have, again, just go to the 12 areas. Do you have a digital marketing strategy? No. Well, she can't, with a straight face, after you've asked her 30 questions and you got 20 no's, tell you that she doesn't need help. Like that's how you cut her arm. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome. So anyways, I hope that's helpful. And I think that Tony Hsieh thing, again, just he wanted to create world peace, but he was going to start with 1 minute of world peace. Like that's just, so I'm chatting to her and I go, look, okay, where you've got an event management business, that's the one with the big opportunity and that's the one that brings in the revenue. What's the big opportunity you're currently not realizing with the business? And she goes, you know what? Local partnerships. I'm not doing that. Okay, perfect. Karen, here's where we're going to start. You and I are going to work together. We are not going to do anything outside of creating that one partnership. And we're going to be the one that we're going to go after is going to be $100,000 partnership, or we're not going after it, but we will get that thing signed, sealed, delivered in the first 30 days of working together. Are you in? She's like, that was kind of the equivalent of Tony Hsieh's 1 minute of world peace.
Got it.
Right? Just go, boom, let's go. And so something along those lines. Would that have worked perfectly? Not sure. I need to be in the room and I got to hear, her feedback. And again, not just ask her the question, but I want to see the manner in which she answers it and whatnot. And then that would help me determine on where I'd go. No rocket science involved. It's just a little bit of, what do you call it? You got to be present, like really present and following what they're saying. So, and no doubt you're doing that, Lois. This isn't for you. This is for the benefit of everybody listening, but there you go.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah.
Good. Pat, would you agree with that? Anything else you'd add here for Lois?
Yeah, I just want to add, like in the software, I'm looking at the Jumpstart 40 here, and I don't know how many questions are here, but there's probably 150, 200 questions throughout this. And, I was with a new buddy of mine here. We're going up 7 hours one way to see his water company. And I just opened up the software on my phone and I started cruising through. I wasn't asking him all the questions, but I was hunting for questions that I thought could be a good breakthrough for him. And I came across this question under increased longevity under more profits. Great question here. Do you have a systematic process for motivating customers to buy from you for life? He's like, that's a great question. And he goes, no. It's like, okay. And then I love this one in valuation. I'd say his name's Bones because his dad called him a bag of bones, and he actually has bones on his passport. Are your marketing and sales process documented so that sales are predictable? And it's like, interesting question. So if you can just go through and you gather, these are pain questions. These are ones like are a large extent of all your systems, processes, policies, procedures in place. These are pain questions. There's one in the success gauge, which I like. And it's, do you have the capacity to handle a sudden influx of new customers? Not so much a pain question, but it's like, oh, I really want that. I want a sudden influx. It makes them realize they don't have it. So if you can go through and identify 5 or 10 pain questions, put them on an index card, write them on your hand or whatever you have to do, just maybe memorize them. And those are your go-to questions that you just bring. Just start drawing blood, as Carl said.
Where are the questions? Where's the success gauge? Where's the success gauge?
Yeah, the bottom right of your software. Do you see that?
Yeah, but the questions that go with that are, so when you click on that, these questions come up?
Correct.
Oh, got it. Okay. Wow.
We are going to change. Yeah, we're going to change all these questions up. I met with Adrian about a month ago, and we just haven't implemented it, but we're going to change these up so this success gauge works a little more predictably, let's say.
Got it.
Yeah.
I love that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And once again, and Lois, one of the absolute go-to question that I would go to, as Pat outlined, like he's like, grab 10 that you really like. Lois, let's go to Karen again, right? So Karen, tell me, what are the 3 biggest challenges / obstacles you currently face in your company? That's home run of a question. And whatever they answer with is pretty much how I'd end up selling them at the end of, the 45 minutes, the 90 minutes, or the 2-hour session. That's how I would sell them. And their answers will be sales, marketing, systems, people. So it'll be one of those 4 in some way, shape, or form. Anyway, so that's a really good question, but I like that, Pat, exactly. Like, get your 10 questions that kind of, move them a little bit. Like, that question number 1, do you have the capacity to handle a sudden influx of new customers? It's really going to take them to a place that you want them to go, where they're like, not really. Well, we got to put the systems in place for that. So there you go. Awesome. Okay, Lewis, appreciate you, bud.
Thank you so much. Yep.
We're going to put you back on mute. Good stuff. Good stuff. And as per always, guys, we need some questions. You know who I'm going to go to? Here's a guy that I haven't spoken to in a while, possibly a 10-year client or about that, Mr. Glenn Smith. Glenny boy, where are you, bud? I'm going to put you on the spot here. Give us some tool questions, and maybe he's going to be shy after that build up. Come on, Glenn. Open me up, buddy. He's possibly, he might not even be here. Maybe he's here by accident. No. Okay. All right, Glenn, when you get it, oh, look at this. He's now alert. Hang on. Look at this. I bet he's trying to find the button.
There we go.
There he is. Hey, Glenn Smith, what's going on? What's happening?
I'm doing fine. How are you today?
Doing good, buddy. What's new in the zoo, man? Give us all the good word.
Oh, well, I'm doing the same thing everybody else is doing, is trying to, take and move people to the finish line and get them to cross that line and give me a big check.
There we go. Damn, I like it. You're pretty good at getting those big checks, by the way, for everybody listening, but good stuff. So give us the good, like, what do you got when you say you're bringing people to the finish line? How'd you get them? What are you doing? What's Glenn up to nowadays?
I've been doing a lot of LinkedIn marketing, basically through connections that I have and new connections that I'm making. And interestingly enough, I got a call last week from a guy. He started a business 2 years ago, and they're already at $1 million with $400,000 in profit, so they say. And he said, well, he called me up and he says, you just jumped out on me at LinkedIn, and I want to know, what can you do for me? So we're having a conversation, and it's fortuitous that I jump on this call because I was actually just putting together my next call with him, which was going to be, what are the pain questions I'm going to ask him? And Carl, as always, you're a genius. So he's one of several. I've got 4 or 5 right now in the hopper, as well as on a different call, recruiting some coaches. So I don't have any specific questions for you. I didn't know about clicking on that button for a success questionnaire. So, always worth getting on these calls, I guess.
Learn something new every day. How long have you been with us now, Glenn? It's been a long time, eh?
Yeah, it's a long time. It's got to be somewhere 8, 9, 10 years, something like that.
Wow.
Hoping for another 8, 9, 10 years, and then we'll go from there.
So, is that all? There we go, man. I love it.
Just with you.
I appreciate it. Glenn, you're a champion, man. I've learned a bundle from you, bud. So I appreciate it big time. Appreciate the kudos. Good having you here on the call. Glad we opened you up. And go Crusher. But I agree. And by the way, and maybe for everybody listening, again, Glenn, like I said, he's done, he does some pretty big numbers with his coaching company and whatnot over a very extended period of time. He's here and he's about to have a call with somebody, and what he's going through in his mind is, okay, what are these pain point questions that I'm going to be asking? So don't beat up on yourself when you don't have it perfectly dialed in and you don't feel, you know what I mean? You'd agree with that, Glenn? Would you expand upon that, or do you kind of follow what I'm trying to say there?
I have a sales coach, and that sales coach always says to me, and you've said it too, when you walk into a meeting, know where you're taking the meeting. And 100%. What that means is prepare. Don't just pick the phone up and have a conversation. What am I gonna do? And Carl, you kind of make me laugh all the time with you're the hammer and I'm the nail thing. But that's what you're doing. If you prepare and think of the conversation as you're leading somebody down a path, and as you talk about, cutting their arm, if you will, and nicking them or whatever, in that conversation, the ultimate thing you're trying to do is to get them to say yes.
Yep.
And so by creating the pain for them, by answering no to all these questions, no, I don't have that. No, I don't have that. No, I don't have that. I know this guy that I'm going to get on the phone with that's got this company says he's $1 million already in 2 years. Yep. I know he doesn't have all this stuff done.
Yep.
I just have to ask the right question.
I would actually, you just remind me, actually, yesterday I had a call with a guy he's on his worst day, he'd be worth 100 million would be my guess. And on his best day, significantly more. He's one of the first investors in Salesforce. Tony, where he got, he could text Tony Robbins, Tony Shea, knew him very well, Zappos.com guy. But anyway, so just, so for everybody, like before I got on the call, I had to I know, it's not like I know the guy, but I kind of know of him, right? And I did a little bit of homework, and what I did is I set up, I often talk about as a business coach, you want to be a little bit of a politician. So no matter what he said and what he asked, there was a certain place at different times, that being said, really what I was is a sponge on that call, because when I tell you this guy switched on, he switched on. We chatted for about an hour and a half, and I took, I would dare say, about 2 pages of notes. But anyway, but what I think is important is that I had a number of things written down before the call. To Glenn's point, I was prepared. I didn't just pick up the phone and say, oh, gee, hope this goes well, that it was highly strategic with my call. And then if you were to ask me, okay, what did I write down? Very intentionally, what I did is I wrote down a number of things, quote unquote, that I stand against, because I knew that I would get more of his attention by standing against than standing for, right? So an example would be that, we were talking about digital marketers. You got an internet marketing, background. He's been in that space very long time. So basically, one of the things I talked about was, when a guy like these digital marketers run around, and the solution to everything, hammer, nail, is that they think Facebook ads are the solution to everything. Well, if you meet a business owner with an accounts receivable problem, or a business owner with a cash flow problem, to go to Facebook ads is like having a hole in the boat and going further out into the lake to solve the problem. And by the way, as I say that, and if you guys have been on these calls for any number of times, I guarantee Pat's heard me say almost that exact verbiage 20 times. Well, when I get the freaking whale on the phone, where do I go? I don't go to revolutionary and new and things that I don't understand. I go to my Mac Daddies, right? Like things that I can really spit out with authority and that I absolutely know to be true. But importantly, things that you see the way I just stood against internet marketing and traditional digital marketing, right? Another thing that I talked about was, you motivate an idiot, they do stupid things quicker. So that what we're trying to do, as an executive team, is that Tony Robbins is great. I named my daughter Sage after his wife, which, by the way, my wife will disagree with that, but I'm the one that came up with the name Sage, and that's where I heard it. But that doesn't matter. The bottom line is that I love Tony Robbins, but my opinion of it, in fact, Pat and I had a long conversation about this morning, is that, look, the coaching industry is far too raw, everybody jumping up and down and clapping hands. And there's absolutely a place for that, psychology and lifting your psychological, your intestinal fortitude, I'm going to say, being stronger mentally and being a little bit more dogmatic. But as a company, and look at your screen right now, guys, you're staring at our software. What we're trying to do is take more of a scientific mathematician/engineering approach to the coaching industry, because we believe that if you motivate an idiot, they do stupid things quicker. So we don't want to just get them super motivated to lower their prices. We don't want to get them super motivated to go and promote a website that's never going to work, a landing page that's never going to work, to go run Facebook ads before they've taken the time to really study their market and understand what that compelling offer is that's going to convert. So once again, I mentioned this and I stood against. So in a nutshell, when Glenn says that before he gets his guy on the phone, he's sitting here trying to think of different questions that he can ask the guy. I'm going to tell you that's a fabulous idea, but I would encourage everybody to be thinking about, I'd like to know what it is that you guys stand against. And then when you get your ideal prospect on the phone or you get in front of them at a networking function, I want you to, you know what I mean? Like I want you to go to those places because I promise you, you will get more attention standing against than you will raw. Let's set some goals. Look, 80-20, we're really going to streamline your time management. You're going to start doing the 20% of the things that are going to provide 80% of the value, right? Like that's okay. But I would call that more rah than I would standing against. And I think that you could do both on that call. But before you pick up the phone and before you talk to your whale, well, if you ask me what I did, I'm going to tell you that I had a full at least 10 different things written down. And I didn't go through all 10 because I'm there to shut the hell up and listen more than I am talk. But I wanted to make sure when I was talking, he understood that I wasn't just a talking head. I wasn't another quote unquote influencer. That's another thing that I stood against on the call. Like I said, Michael Gerber, you guys heard me say this. Michael Gerber, great book, E-Myth, right? If you haven't heard of it, E-Myth, read it. It's great. The guy's never built a company, right? So when I want to build a company, I don't go follow Michael Gerber. I'll read his book. I'll take some tidbits out of it, but this isn't my guy, right? Tim Ferriss. If I want to do a killer podcast, I would follow Tim Ferriss. To my knowledge, Tim Ferriss has never built a business of even mediocre existence, right? Well, that's not the guy that I'm going to follow for building a company. But if I want to be an influencer, I want to get some attention, I want to get I want to sell 1 million copies of my book, or I want to create a killer podcast, Tim Ferriss is your guy. But make sure you're picking your right guys. Another thing that I said to him was that a real mentor can tell you what not to do. Okay. Any dickhead can give you a list, lengthen your to-do list and give you a bunch of things to think about. No, I've never met a business owner in my life that was short on ideas and, thoughts and things that they might be able to do. Again, think of my expression there. A real mentor can tell you what not to do. And then motivate an idiot. They do stupid things quicker. One of the things I also tried to do, and I had listed before I spoke to him, was that not only do I have things that I stand against, but I try to come up with a short, sharp way of bringing that message across, right? So that's an example. Motivate an idiot. They do stupid things quicker. So anyways, and obviously, Glenn, I'm not speaking to you here. I'm speaking to the entire group, but I just wanted to expand on that. That's, not a surprise that you're about to talk to what could be a potentially massive client. And you're on this call thinking to yourself, what are some of my money questions that I can ask to really jog this guy or gal and move them towards becoming a client, right? Because that's what we do. It's being strategic. Do you agree with that, Glenn, by the way?
You weren't calling me an idiot there?
Oh, definitely not. I would never do that, Glenn. I would never do that. Anyway,
hey, sometimes
there you go. What do you think? You like that, Glenn? Does that make sense?
I love that, and I want to make sure that all that stuff. If you've never prepared for a meeting, it's like I remember when I was playing football, the question that came up all the time at the beginning of the season was the coach would stand up there and do his Vince Lombardi imitation and say, "Gentlemen, this is a football."
Yeah, I love it.
They all knew it was a football.
Yeah.
But he was bringing them back to the basics, and this whole idea of, I'm on this call because I want to use this tool to make a heck of a lot of money. I think this tool is worth its weight in gold. And I don't know what your plans are for it, Carl, but this thing here could revolutionize the coaching industry.
Well, that is our plan. Right there, Glenn. That's why poor old Pat just told you earlier, man, the poor bugger's sleeping. Then he woke up and went, I got an idea. And then it started fading and he didn't get back to sleep, the poor bugger. So yeah, don't you worry about that. That's exactly what we're attempting to do, boss. Exactly what in fact, I think we're better than, I think we're on our way. Nobody's seen anything like this in coaching. And we are not going to rest on our laurels here and keep pounding, buddy. So, but appreciate the kudos, man. Times 10, Glenn. Times 10, bud.
Thank you, my friend.
You bet, man. Okay, good luck with you. When's your meeting with the guy?
I got one in about at 3:30, And then I've got another one. I've got 4 more to set up that are people that I've been talking to. So I've got to pick the phone up and get that done today.
There we go. You beauty. Okay, buddy, going to put you back on mute. Pat, anything that you'd expand upon what I just said, or in agreement, or any thoughts?
Well, absolutely agreeing. And I know Bruce Parker had asked if we could go back and just show him where some of the pain questions are. So I just take a little bit of time to do that.
Okay, cool.
Just maybe as a general rule, because I don't want to go through all 27 areas here, 28 areas, whatever there are. But yeah, success gauge is one area you can go in and just, I mean, what I would do is I'd go through and you find a question you love and you go, oh my gosh, I just copy and paste it into a document. So you got there in the success questionnaire from the bottom right, you have the capacity to handle a sudden influx of new customers. I always like that one. Under valuation, I would say number 7 is probably the most powerful. Are your marketing and sales processes documented so that sales are predictable? They're going to say no, almost probably 95, 100% of the time. And let's start going through these. Just take them one at a time. You might or might not find something in there. Under strategy, I use this one on the weekend. The guy goes and he sells water to hotels and big businesses. And I say, well, when you meet with a prospect, how many purposes do you have for that meeting besides making a sale? And he's like, what else is there? I go, well, do you want to build referrals? It's like, well, yeah, I want to do that. Well, I go, well, how are you doing that? Are you trying to, how are you, what are you doing to leave something with the person so that when they can't make a decision, they have to give it to someone else? What's the question I'm trying to ask here? Do you arm that person with good sales material? For example, he goes, no, I'm not doing that either. So you can go through a lot of these. And I think in the implementation calendar for the strategy, there's a lot of these examples that you could do. This is a great question to ask though. So I just start hopping through each of these, and when you see something you like, you go, that's a great question. I showed you the one before. I'll just give it as an example. It's under increase longevity. Number 5, do you have a systematic process for motivating customers to buy from you for life? So, and then of course the follow-up to that is, what would be the impact if you had a systematic customer satisfaction and customer relationship program? So yeah, I just go through and find 5 or 10 pain questions.
Yep.
And
hey Pat, could I get you to go, because I would like to could you go to Jumpstart 12 for me, please, and just hit, I want to go to introduction. So I'm going to show Bruce. In fact, I might just open up Bruce here. Bruce, I'm going to open you up here, buddy. You're self-muted. So if you were to ask me, so again, look, so to be clear, for Bruce's question, where are the pain questions, Pat just showed you, like, again, he's just got isolated ones that he knows, and that he likes, and he just knows they're going to jog him. And if you were to ask me, look, where would I start to create, the beginning of a little bit of blood? Introduction, right here. I go, when did you start your business? In fact, if you go up, I think it'll say, why did you start your business? The reason I'm asking why and when is I want a kind of old rocker, picture somebody on the rocking chair, kind of just going, well, so this opens this opens them up, and we'll after they answer these 2 questions, my experience is that they're a lot more vulnerable. So what, I'm talking to Pat. Pat, why did you start your business? When did you start your business? So what's the role that you play in your business? What do you, over the next 5 years, what do you see, right? Like, what's the picture of the company that you're picturing over 5 years? And then the Mac Daddy, number 5, and I just said it earlier to Lois, what are the 3 biggest problems? And I say /obstacles, but you can word it the way you like. What are the 3 biggest problems /obstacles you currently face in your business? Question number 5, and again, it'll be 4 things. It'll be sales, marketing, systems, or staff and people, right? It'll almost always be right in those 4. But anyway, so their answer to that is pretty much, I now know what problem they want solved. So that's where I go. But then now when I go into market dominating position, those 5 questions are designed because they don't have a market dominating position. So when I ask them these questions, I just cut their arm and I go, what kind of improvement do you think we could get here? And you look at that, like I go, a 2% improvement represents 20 grand. And if you adjust that to 4%, you just check that, put that as 4 for me, please, Pat. And watch, it's going to change the 40 grand. Right? Boom. It's like, the guy's like, holy smokes. And you realize that 40 grand would pretty much land in your bank account and not go anywhere because it's out. Well, anyways, you guys understand that one, right? Because once we've already got the client, we're already sitting in front of them, we're already selling them something. A lot of those expenses have gone bye-bye, right? So it's the extra 20 grand is predominantly pure profit. So anyway, so that's where I go. So I ask the market dominating positions. And then if you go next to leads, those are the questions that I designed to cut their arm in leads. There we are. And then if you hit alliances and joint ventures and you go on, these are all the questions designed to cut their arm. But I started introduction, and the Mac Daddy is what are the 3 biggest challenges / obstacles you currently face in your business? Bruce, you're open. I'm curious as to if that helped answer your question.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just being lazy. When you guys are first talking, I thought there was one button that had all these arm cutting questions, but I see how you're doing it, and that's kind of how I was doing it anyway. But thanks for the explanation. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, cool, awesome. And I would dare say introduction and then success. So you go to the bottom right there, you see success questionnaire. Again, kind of design. Are you hungry? Is the last question there. On a scale of 1 to 10, who's not going to say they're a 7, 8, 9, or 10, right? So That's designed to cut them up a little bit too. So there you go. But to be clear, Bruce, and everybody else listening, the entire process is designed to cut arms, right? Just think, do you have a business plan? You say no. Do you have a marketing plan? You say no. Do you have an advertising budget? You say no. Do you have any joint ventures and partnerships? What the hell do you mean? I explain it. They say no. It's like, no. They're like, oh my God, I'm an idiot, right? At the end, I remember a lot of the time what I would do is I'm selling coaching. At the very beginning, I would do a bit of a takeaway. And I remember this one time I was sitting with this husband-wife team. And I was kind of getting pretty good at this thing. And at the beginning, I was like, look, I'm super busy. You saw the room last night. There's 40 people in there. Frankly, 35 of them want to work with me. I've got to pick which 5 I'm going to work with. I'm hoping that's going to be you, but I got to understand that there's a huge amount of potential, right? And opportunity in your company. So we're going through the questions. And I remember, the husband was answering one way, and then his wife was fighting with him, saying, no, we've got that in place. No, don't listen to him. No, we're good. We've got an advertising budget. And what she was really trying to do was make me feel comfortable that they weren't a total dog's breakfast, because she was worried that at the end of it, I was going to say, look, I'm not, I can't work with you guys. And so I practically had a fist fight going on that was kind of comical. And what that told me at the end of it, as I walked out, I thought, that takeaway at the very beginning worked really well. I'm going to stick with that. So anyways, it's just the entire process designed to kind of cut arms is what I'm getting at there.
You cut them.
Good.
All right. Helpful, Bruce?
Very helpful. Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
You bet, bud. Okay, I'm going to put you back on mute.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else got a question? Or sorry, Pat, what do you got, bud?
Thank you, Slasher Carl.
Yeah, there you go. Kenyon, Pat, and Slasher Carl. There we go, man. Let's go with it. All right, folks. Slasher Carl might be done slashing here. Kenyon Pat might be going to bed because it's getting late for the boy. Okay, guys, if anybody's got any questions, put your hand up. Otherwise, I think we'll be cutting this a little bit. We'll be cutting this off. There you go. I think we're good. Okay, Pat, any last words here for our fine folks?
No, I guess bring your questions on Thursday if you got some, and we'll talk to you then.
Awesome. Okay, Pat, we appreciate you, buddy. Everybody here, we appreciate you guys playing full out. And we will see you on Thursday.